Ladies and gentlemen, the Big 12 Conference football schedule for 2023 has finally arrived, and that includes the schedule for the West Virginia Mountaineers. So pull up a chair, sit back, relax, and let's talk about it. What is up, college sports fans, fellow members of Mountaineer Nation? This is Couz. Welcome into another edition of Couz's Corner. Pull that chair up and let me serve you up this shot of top-shelf college football content. On tap in this episode, we're going to take a look together at West Virginia's Big 12 conference schedule and non-conference schedule for the 2023 season. I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I'm going to talk about Neal Brown. He's potentially going to be on the hot seat going into 2023. Is it possible he doesn't even make it into October as West Virginia's football coach? So let's dig in. Before I do, folks, I'm asking you, please, if you don't mind, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel here. And don't forget to hit the red notification bell to go along with that. If you like Big 12 football content, especially West Virginia content, you need to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on future videos and live streams. Please hit the thumbs up button and like this video if you like what I have to say here and you enjoy this. And last but not least, leave a comment and share it with your friends as well. I want to hear your thoughts about this schedule. All right, now, as we take a look at this schedule, obviously, we start out the season. We knew about these games, Penn State, Duquesne, and Pitt for the non-conference slate. Now, there was talk that the administration was trying to switch the Duquesne and Penn State games around. Obviously, that didn't happen. I'm not sure if that was just a rumor that was out there or if that was actually they were trying to make that happen. But obviously, it didn't happen because here's your schedule. They will start the season going to Penn State to play the Nittany Lions in State College on September the 2nd. They will follow that up with their lone FCS opponent at home on September the 9th, which is Duquesne. And then they will stay at home for September 16th to welcome the arch rival Pitt Panthers into Morgantown for the backyard brawl, which is going to be a huge, huge game and a big day in Morgantown on the 16th. Then they stay at home for the third week in a row on the 23rd of September, which, by the way, happens to be this guy's birthday. The Texas Tech Red Raiders will come into Morgantown. We all know Neal Brown has struggled against Texas Tech. He's 0-4 against Texas Tech since he's been the coach at West Virginia. Then, on the 30th of September, West Virginia has to travel to Dallas-Fort Worth to take on the TCU Horned Frogs, the runners-up of the college football playoff. Three of the toughest four opponents on West Virginia's schedule, maybe even four of the toughest, are in the first half of the season for West Virginia. As you see, week 6 of the season is their bye week. First weekend of October, the 7th of October is their bye week. So it's feasible. And I've got to credit the guys over at 365 Sports for bringing this to my attention because I was listening to them on my drive home today. But it's feasible that West Virginia starts the season 1-4. We think they'll beat Duquesne, but they could potentially lose to Penn State, Pitt, Texas Tech, and TCU, folks. I'm not predicting that'll happen. I'm going to do a whole nother video doing a schedule breakdown and prediction. But it is feasible that West Virginia loses 4 of those 5 games. And if West Virginia starts the season at 1-4 going into their bye week in week 6, is it possible that Ren Baker makes a decision to pull the plug on Neal Brown right then? Be interesting to see how it plays out. I hope that doesn't happen because I obviously don't want West Virginia to go 1-4 to start the season. And I don't want Neal Brown to lose his job. I don't. Not right now. I want to see Neal Brown turn this ship around and start winning games. But if he don't, folks, let's just be real about it. If he don't, they're going to have to make a change. But would they do it in the middle of the season? Who knows? Now, looking at the second half of the schedule, you've got Houston on the road. West Virginia has to travel to Houston, and it's showing that as a Thursday night game, but the 14th is not a Thursday night, so I'm not sure. Maybe it's going to be on the 12th. I'm not sure. But nonetheless, they will play the week after the bye. They will play Houston. It will probably be on the 12th of October, I'm assuming. Then they follow that up with another home game against the Oklahoma State Cowboys, who will come into Morgantown on the 21st. Then they go on the road to face the second newcomer on the schedule, the UCF Knights. They will travel to Orlando to take on the Knights in the Bounce House on the 28th of October. I'm going to try my best to go to that game. It's a bucket list item for me to attend the game in the Bounce House. For whatever reason, I find that stadium to be really, really cool. The way they've designed it, I want to go there. Then, on the 4th of November, the third new conference member on the schedule heads to Morgantown. The BYU Cougars will travel to Morgantown on November the 4th to take on the Mountaineers. 11-11, hopefully that's a lucky sign. West Virginia has to travel to Norman to take on the Oklahoma Sooners. Then 11-18, November 18th, West Virginia will welcome the Cincinnati Bearcats to Morgantown, the fourth new Big 12 member on the schedule. That's a good thing, in my opinion. West Virginia is going to get all 4 new members, which will be exciting to play these new teams. So on the 18th, West Virginia welcomes the Cincinnati Bearcats to Morgantown, which will hopefully be the start of a long rivalry here with the Bearcats. And then the 25th, West Virginia closes out the season, November 25th, traveling to Waco, Texas to take on the Baylor Bears. Now, first let's look at the teams that are not on this schedule. You've got the Texas Longhorns, the team most people pick to win the conference, not on the schedule for the Mountaineers. The Iowa State Cyclones, a team that West Virginia has struggled with throughout the years, especially since Matt Campbell's been the coach, not on the schedule for the Mountaineers. The Kansas Jayhawks, a team who's no longer a gimme on the schedule, not on the schedule for the Mountaineers. And then the Kansas State Wildcats, a team who I think has a shot to again compete, to be in the top half of the league, to possibly compete for a conference title. Chris Klieman's got that team rolling. They're the defending Big 12 champs. They are not on the schedule. So Texas, Kansas State, Iowa State, and Kansas not on the schedule for the Mountaineers. I think that's a good thing. They still get some exciting games against Oklahoma, plus the new teams, plus Oklahoma State. They get the 2 exciting non-con games against Penn State and Pitt. So it should be an exciting season for Mountaineer football. A challenging season, but an exciting season. Now let's look at the good, bad, and ugly of the schedule. The good of the schedule, I like the fact we're playing the 4 new members. I think that bodes well because I do think these 4 members will all compete in the Big 12, but I do think there'll be some growing pains, especially for the 3 coming over from the American Conference. I think Houston, UCF, and Cincinnati may struggle for at least 1 to 2 seasons when they enter the Big 12, so I think it's a positive that West Virginia gets all 4 of them on their schedule. The bad of that, however, is the fact that they are all on the back half of the schedule, because ideally you'd like to have at least one of these teams, if not 2, on the front half of the schedule to try to make the first front end of that schedule a little what on paper would be a little easier. No offense to the fans of those teams, but Texas Tech, a lot of people are picking Texas Tech to compete for the conference title next year. We all know TCU is probably going to be good again next year, or at least has a chance to be. So, I mean, obviously we're just looking at this on paper now. We don't know until the games are played who's going to be the best teams. But on paper, it looks like West Virginia's front half is extremely difficult, especially with that non-con slate. So it would really make me feel better if I saw Houston or UCF or Cincinnati instead of Texas Tech and TCU in the first half of that schedule. Then I wouldn't be as worried about Neal Brown going 1-4 to start the season. You'd be looking more at maybe 2-3 or even 3-2 potentially, depending on where the teams were slotted. But so that's the bad. And now the ugly is obviously that non-conference schedule, man. You look at Penn State and Pitt, 2 really good Power 5 teams. Penn State, a lot of people have them picked to be in the top 10 in the country preseason, and we have to go to Penn State to play the game. And then you've got Pitt, an arch rival, coming to Morgantown. I'm not saying I don't want to play that game. I'm glad to see Pitt on the schedule, but man, when Oliver Luck made this schedule 10, 12 years ago, I don't think he realized what he was doing to old Neal Brown. I'm sure obviously he can't predict the future, but he unknowingly really put Neal Brown's back against the wall, because if Neal Brown loses both of those games, the fan base is not going to be happy with him, and it's not going to be pretty. And there's really a lot of pressure on him to win this year, man. And when you look at the front half of that schedule with that non-con portion especially, very, very tough sledding. So now I will be breaking down the entirety of the Big 12 schedule, hopefully on a live stream tomorrow night, Wednesday, February 1st. Be on the lookout for that. I'm planning to go live around 8 p.m. Eastern time to take a look at the entire Big 12 schedule, break down who has the toughest schedule, who has the easiest schedule, those kind of things, and just kind of point out maybe some big games, some games that might be big for TV, things like that. And one more thing I want to point out here. West Virginia going to Houston on the 14th of October, huge miss for the Big 12 Conference. Dana Holgorsen and the Houston Cougars coming to Morgantown during their first year in the Big 12 would have been a great for TV. It would have been a huge game. It would have probably been a sellout in Morgantown, because fans would want to come just to boo Dana Holgorsen probably. He did not leave a great taste in fans' mouths when he left here, West Virginia, because of some of the things he said, and it could create a really good rivalry there. So I think they really missed out on a good opportunity to have Houston to come to Morgantown in year one. Yes, I know West Virginia goes to Houston next year, but because it's year one and it's the first game they're playing each other, I think it's going to have a lot more. There's going to be a lot more juice to it than after it's already happened once. So I think the Big 12 I think the Big 12 really missed out on that opportunity. Maybe Dana is scared to come back to Morgantown. Who knows? Maybe he doesn't want to deal with the booze. Maybe he chickened out. Who knows? We'll see. That being said, if you want to support this show financially, folks, there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can check out my merch store by clicking the link at the top of my description box or one of the photos below the description box. Get you right into my store. Check out my hoodies, my T-shirts, my ball caps, my coffee mugs, several different designs to choose from. You can check out the Fanatics link, too, to get your custom NIL jersey of your favorite player. If you're not a fan of West Virginia or you don't want an NIL jersey, you want something else, you can still use that link. It'll still get you into the Fanatics site. And whatever you buy once you're on the site, I'll get a small commission. You can make a one-time donation by using the heart thanks option right below my video here. Little heart with a dollar sign in it. I also have PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App links in the description box as well. You can also become a member of Couz's Corner by hitting the join button. If you want to support me absolutely free, you can do it the 4 ways I mentioned early in the video. You can like the video, share it out with your friends, hit the subscribe button, and drop that comment below and let me know what you think about this 2023 schedule for the West Virginia Mountaineers football team. With that being said, I really appreciate you tuning in to this episode. And until the next one, Q Country Roads.